The Kryptonians. Among all of DC's alien civilizations, the Kryptonians are the most iconic and influential. First introduced alongside Superman in Action Comics number 1, 1938, Kryptonians were originally depicted as a human-like race from a distant planet destroyed in a cosmic cataclysm. Later stories fleshed them out as one of the most advanced societies in the DC universe, whose brilliance ultimately led to their downfall. Krypton's civilization was built on cutting-edge science, genetic engineering, and a rigid social hierarchy that valued stability over innovation. Their arrogance blinded them to their own planet's instability, and despite the warnings of visionaries like Jor-El, Krypton's leaders ignored the coming destruction. When the planet finally exploded, only a handful of survivors escaped, most notably Kal-El, who would become Superman. Kryptonians appear ordinary under their red sun, Rao, but under a yellow sun like Earth's, their physiology absorbs solar radiation, granting them superhuman strength, speed, flight, invulnerability, heat vision, super breath, and more. This makes them nearly godlike compared to humans. Beyond Superman, survivors like Supergirl, General Zod, and Power Girl embody the tragic legacy of Krypton, a brilliant race destroyed by pride, remembered through the power and compassion, or tyranny, of its last children. The Amazons. The Amazons of Themyscira blend mythology with DC's superhero universe, serving as a bridge between gods and mortals. Debuting in All-Star Comics number 8, 1941, with Wonder Woman's introduction, the Amazons are an immortal race of warrior women created by the Olympian gods as champions of peace. Blessed with enhanced strength, speed, agility, wisdom, and longevity, they live in isolation on Themyscira, a hidden island paradise shielded from the outside world. The Amazons are not merely warriors. Their culture emphasizes philosophy, scholarship, and the arts, representing a utopia uncorrupted by man's world. Yet they are also fiercely protective of their independence, often portrayed as mistrustful of outsiders. Wonder Woman's role as an ambassador symbolizes the best of both worlds. The compassion of Themyscira, tempered with the bravery to engage in humanity's struggles. George Perez's 1987 Wonder Woman run and Greg Rucka's Year One retelling expanded their lore, tying them more deeply into Greek mythology. The Amazons represent the ideal of balance, a race that combines strength with wisdom, yet their isolationism often leaves them at odds with the modern world. The Atlanteans. Atlantis in DC lore represents both the weight of myth and the complexity of politics. Introduced in Adventure Comics number 260, 1959, Atlanteans are descendants of an ancient human civilization that sank beneath the seas and evolved into a water-breathing race. Over thousands of years, their physiology adapted to extreme depths, granting them enhanced durability, immense strength, and the ability to breathe and thrive underwater. However, Atlanteans are not a single unified people. Their civilization splintered into multiple undersea kingdoms, from Poseidonis to Zeeble, each with unique cultures and rivalries. Aquaman, born Arthur Curry, embodies the tension between Atlantis and the surface world. As king, he constantly navigates the struggle between Atlantis' need for sovereignty and humanity's fear of the unknown. In Throne of Atlantis, 2012, this tension erupts into war, showing how easily Atlantis' power could overwhelm the surface world. Mera, his queen, further illustrates the complexity of Atlantean identity, torn between love, loyalty, and politics. The Atlanteans are a reminder that humanity is not the sole ruler of Earth, and beneath the oceans lies an empire as ancient and powerful as any on land. The Martians. The Martians, introduced with John Johns in Detective Comics number 225, 1955, are one of DC's most fascinating and tragic races. Divided into green Martians and white Martians, their society once thrived as a telepathic, shape-shifting civilization on Mars. Green Martians like John embodied peace and unity, while white Martians pursued conquest and aggression, sparking conflict that devastated their world. The Martians possessed incredible abilities: flight, telepathy, telekinesis, shape-shifting, intangibility, and vast strength. Yet despite their near godlike powers, they were undone by their own divisions and by a catastrophic event often retold as a psychic plague of fire that wiped out nearly all of their kind. John Jones, one of the last survivors, carries the memory of his entire race's downfall, embodying both their potential and their tragedy. Stories like Martian Manhunter, 1998, and JLA New World Order, 1997, emphasize not just his personal isolation, but the broader theme of a race that was once great, now reduced to a single voice. The Martians represent loss on a cosmic scale, the idea that entire civilizations can vanish, leaving only ghosts in their survivors. The New Gods. Few races in DC are as influential as Jack Kirby's New Gods, introduced in New Gods number 1, 1971. They emerged after the destruction of the old gods in a Ragnarok-like event, splitting into two opposing worlds, New Genesis and Apokolips. On New Genesis, ruled by High Father, the new gods embody enlightenment, peace, and balance. On Apokolips, ruled by Darkseid, they embody tyranny, war, and cruelty. These cosmic beings are immortal, possessing incredible strength, endurance, and mastery over advanced technology, most notably the mother boxes and the boom tubes that allow interdimensional travel. Characters like Orion, raised on New Genesis but born of Apokolips, Mr. Miracle, who escaped Darkseid's torture pits, and Big Barda, a warrior who turned against her master, illustrate the eternal struggle between freedom and control. Darkseid himself is one of DC's ultimate antagonists, seeking the anti-life equation to dominate free will across the multiverse. Stories like Cosmic Odyssey, 1988, and Final Crisis, 2008, demonstrate that the war of the new gods is not confined to their worlds. It spills into Earth, shaping the fate of the DC universe itself. They are more than a race. They are cosmic archetypes of good and evil. The Thanagarians. Thanagarians, first introduced in The Brave and the Bold, number 34, 1961, with Hawkman and Hawkgirl, are a proud, warlike race defined by their mastery of nth metal. This rare substance grants flight, enhanced strength, and healing, making Thanagarians some of the most formidable warriors in the galaxy. Their society is militaristic, structured around conquest and dominance, and has often clashed with Earth and other civilizations. In comics, Hawkman and Hawkgirl represent Thanagar's complex history of reincarnation, where their souls are bound across time and space, repeatedly reborn into new forms. This gives Thanagarians a mythic resonance, blending cosmic science fiction with ancient destiny. In Justice League Unlimited, 2004, the Thanagarians were portrayed as invaders, cementing their reputation as both potential allies and enemies. Thanagarians embody the duality of strength. Their culture creates heroes of great honor, but also empires built on conquest. The Parademons of Apokolips. If the new gods of New Genesis represent nobility, the Parademons of Apokolips embody the opposite, the complete dehumanization of a race under tyranny. Introduced alongside Darkseid in New Gods number 1, 1971. Parademons are the expendable shock troops bred and engineered to enforce his will. Stripped of individuality, they exist only to serve as soldiers in Apokolips's endless wars. They descend on worlds in swarms, overwhelming enemies through sheer numbers rather than individuality. In Justice League Origin, 2011, they spearheaded Darkseid's invasion of Earth, and in Zack Snyder's Justice League, 2021, they were depicted as relentless monsters, embodying fear and domination. Parademons illustrate what happens when life is reduced to obedience, a race defined not by culture or ideals, but by servitude to a single master. The Guardians and the Lantern Corps. The Guardians of the Universe, introduced in Green Lantern Volume 2, number 1, 1960, are among DC's oldest races. Ancient beings from Oa, they devoted themselves to maintaining order across the cosmos, creating the Green Lantern Corps, a diverse coalition of beings wielding rings powered by willpower. The Corps itself is not a race, but an assembly of countless species, from Kilowog's Bolavax Vic to Mogo, the living planet. What makes the Guardians and the Corps significant is their role as one of the central pillars of DC's cosmic order. Through events like Sinestro Corps War, 2007, Blackest Night, 2009, and Brightest Day, 2010, they showcase the vast diversity of the DC universe, uniting aliens under the shared banner of protecting the galaxy. The Guardians represent both wisdom and arrogance, often depicted as cold and detached, while the Corps reflects the resilience of countless races working together. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the major races of DC, make sure you subscribe to Explained Comics and turn on notifications, because we'll keep exploring the myths, origins, and hidden truths of Marvel and DC every week. And I'd love to hear from you. Which DC race do you think has had the biggest impact? Kryptonians, New Gods, or Martians? Drop your answer in the comments, and your thoughts might shape what we explore next.